This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Monday means it's Modern Monday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and we have a super sweet Dominaria-influenced, artifacty, aggro-y, combo-y deck. I'm calling this one Hardened Karnstructs, and it comes to us from Okamata Yua, who took it to a top 8 finish in a small Japanese tournament. So congrats to Yua on a really cool deck. A quick reminder before we break down Hardened Karnstructs for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Hardened Karnstructs kind of comes in two interrelated parts. The first part of the deck is the Hardened Scales part of the deck. So Hardened Scales, pretty simple. 1 mana, if a +1/+1 counter would go on one of our creatures, we get that many +1 counters instead. So instead of 1 counter, 2 counters, instead of 4 counters, 5 counters, extra counters, and this kind of forms the foundation of our deck. We have a ton of ways to get counters on creatures. So for example, kind of the big payoffs for this deck are Arcbound Ravager, Seal Overseer, and Metallic Mimic. So Arcbound Ravager, we just sack an artifact, put a counter on it. If we have Hardened Scales, it's 2 counters, so it grows really quickly. Then when it dies, all those counters can go on another artifact creature, which our deck is overflowing with. Steel Overseer might be the scariest card in the deck because it taps to put a counter on all of our artifact creatures, but with Hardened Scales out, it's going to put 2 counters on all of our artifact creatures, which is a really insane boost of power for our team. And then Metallic Mimic probably looks slightly weird, but I believe that every single creature in our deck is a construct, so we play Metallic Mimic on construct, then when we cast our Steel Overseer or any of our other stuff, it's coming with a +1/+1 counter, which means 2 +1/+1 counters with Hardened Scales, and then it gets out of control super quickly. So those are kind of the main payoffs. We also have a couple more +1/+1 counter artifacts, also both constructs, so they work with all the other synergies in our deck. Hangerback Walker just taps to put a counter on itself, and then if it dies, we get a bunch of Thopters. Of course, with Hardened Scales, it's 2 counters, and plus, we can dump counters onto it with Arcbound Ravager. We can pump it up with Steel Overseer, so it grows really quickly. Walking Ballista, kind of the same thing, except instead of making Thopters, it just throws damage at things from the +1/+1 counters. We can pay 4 to put a counter on it if things are going really badly, but mostly, we're just putting counters on it with Steel Overseer, with Hardened Scales, and growing it really fast, and then killing our opponent with it. So those are kind of our main counter payoffs. We also have Bombat Courier. We dump our hand really quickly. We do have ways to pay red mana to draw a bunch of cards with it. So it's kind of good in our deck. It's also a construct, so it works with the theme of our deck. We can always just sack it to Ravager, put counters on it with our Steel Overseer. And we really want to be focused on artifacts because the second part of the deck is the Karn part of the deck. So we are a 4 of Karn Scion of Urza deck. 4 Karns, and in this deck, our main plan is to play Karn and take it down. We have so many artifacts that we're going to be making 5/5, 6/6s, 7/7s with Karn, and we can do that twice in a row, and that doesn't even include the fact that they're artifacts and they're constructs, so they're getting counters from our Metallic Mimic, they're getting counters from our Steel Overseer, we're sacking them to Ravagers, and just going off with these massive construct tokens. So Karn is kind of the other finisher. It doesn't necessarily do anything with the +1/+1 counter plan, but it is an insane way to just close out the game by making massive artifact creatures. Otherwise, we got some more cheap artifacts. Mox Opal just helps us explode out of the gate, also lets us pay that pesky red mana for Bombat Courier. Mishra's Bauble, we can cycle it if we're desperate, or we can leave it on the battlefield, pump our Karnstructs, sack it to Arcbound Ravager eventually. Darksteel Citadel, just an artifact land. Ancient Stirrings holds everything together. It just cycles through our deck to find our important pieces. Then in the rest of the mana base, we have Blinkbomb Nexus, another creature land / artifact, so it works well with all the synergies we've been talking about. Copperline Guard, Karpusan Forest as dual lands. Kind of a nice part of this deck because you don't got to play any fetches, so you have a cheaper than normal mana base, although the deck itself is still pretty expensive. Couple of forests. In the sideboard, Welding Jar and Etch Champion kind of help us protect our artifacts. So Welding Jar just does it directly. We sack it, we regenerate our most important artifact when our opponent tries to Ancient Grudge it. Etch Champion just makes our entire deck more resilient. If we're worried about a ton of disruption removal, we can bring in Etch Champion. Doesn't die to most things because of protection. We should always have 3 artifacts on the battlefield, and then we put a bunch of counters on it and kill our opponent that way. Otherwise, we kind of focus on artifacts when it comes to our sideboard hate cards, because in the worst case, we can use them to pump our Karnstructs, we can sack them to Ravagers, so Grafdigger's Cage, Relic for graveyards, also Collected Company, Phyrexian Revoker to deal with our opponent's activated things, Oblivion Stones, Planeswalkers, Ancient Grudge for opposing artifacts, Blood Moon for the jank 'em out plan, and that is Hardened Karnstructs for Modern. And that's been our Instant Deck Tech for today, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.